guys, Autumn here today to do my last 2 weeks of December wrap up and the first 3 days of January wrap up because I am participating in the Smudathon, which started yesterday, the 4th. So, whatever I read on the 4th through next Saturday, the 11th, will be in my next week's wrap up for this Smudathon wrap up. So I read a total of 15 books in the last 2 weeks plus a little bit. So my total for 2019 books I read was 275, and I'm already at 6 books for January, or for 2020. So I'm just gonna start with wrapping them up. The first book I read was Never Enough by, let me see if I could change the brightness, sorry. Never Enough by Kelly Elliott, and that is book 1 in the, Montana series. What is it? Meet Me in Montana, series by Kelly Elliott. This came out on December 10th. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. This follows Lincoln and Brock. Brock is a bull rider, and he has a son. I think he's 5 years old, maybe. And something happens to his wife, and he's raising his son alone, but he is a bull rider, so his parents and brother help take care of his son when he's away. And then Lincoln just moved to Montana, and she moved into Brock's old house, and it's their story. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, really enjoyed it, and can't wait to continue on with the series. And then I read The Christmas in Blackwood by Cecilia Aaron, and this was the first book by her I've read. This is 1.5 in the Blackwood series. This was the Read Me Romance podcast book. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, and this came out the week of the 16th through the 20th, and this follows Ella and Hart, and they're both lawyers. Ella is defending a person, and then Hart is defending another person, and it's their banter. And 3 out of 5 stars. And then I reread Twisted Perfection by Abby Glines. This is book 5 in the Rosemary Beach series. This is the first book in the Della and Wood series duology. I give this 4 out of 5 stars. I listened to this on audio, and I really enjoyed getting back into this series, and it's filled with drama and laughs and serious stuff, and all the feels. But I love Abby Glines. She does a really good job of writing. Then I read Unexpected Bound by Kaylee Ryan. This is book 4 in the Unexpected Arrival series. I give this 5 out of 5 stars, and this follows Seth and Myra. Myra is a single mom, and she is moving to be closer to her best friend. And during a party, she meets Seth, and they've been texting back and forth, and it's just their relationship. There is a lot of emotion in this book, and I really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 stars. And this came out in December. I don't remember what day it came out, but I think it was the 17th of December. But I really enjoyed it. And then I read One Timer by Tony Aleo. This is book 13 in the Nashville Assassin series. This follows Harper and Jacob, who you meet in the first book, and I really enjoyed their banter and getting their side of the story, because parts of it from taking shots. I think it's taking shots. I'm pretty sure it's taking shots. And I really enjoyed their side. It's a quick read. Took me like an hour-ish to read. Gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. And then the next book I read was Snow Angel by Mink. And this was a surprise romance Read Me Romance podcast book. And this was the first book by the author, and I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. This follows Adrian and Brennan, and they're across the street neighbors, who are at a war, for who has the best Christmas decorations. And it's really fun and cute and a good Christmas read, and I really liked it. 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then I participated in the Kindle Limited weekend read-along or readathon, and the first book I read was that is If I Say Yes by Hope Ford. This is the first book by her that I've read. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. This is book 1 in the Blake Brothers series. This follows Chelsea and Jason. Jason is a baseball player, and Chelsea is a fan. And I'm pretty sure Jason is a pitcher, and one day he was pitching and he saw her in the stands, and from there, I gave this 3.5 out of 5, and it was a really cute book. And then I read Love Like Ours, which is book 2 in the Blake Brothers series by Hope Ford. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. And again, this follows Emily and Jake, who you meet in If I Say Yes, and it picks up right from there. And it was really cute. And then also during, excuse me, sorry, I'm doing I guess I don't have it. I don't know where. It's not added. The third one is not in my December reads, but Then I read Never Been Kissed, which is the third book in this series. I give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. This follows Jared, who is a brother of Jack and Justin, and then Chrissy, who is the photographer that you meet in If I Say Yes. And it's their story, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Really cute and quick read. They all are. And then the next book I read for this weekend was Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I give this 5 out of 5 stars. I listened to this on audio because for Kindle Limited, they have where you could get the Kindle book and the audiobook, and I listened to this. I gave it 5 humongous stars. I loved this book. It follows Morgan and her daughter Claire, Clara, and it's two-time point of views, and it's dealing with their relationship and something happens and how they move on with that. That's all I'm going to tell you because I feel like all of Colleen Hoover books are better going into it blind. And yes, loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend. And then the last book I read in 2019 was Intersect by Elizabeth Oroka, is how I'm going to say that. I know, or Aurora, I don't know. But I really enjoyed this book. This is book 2 in the Parallel Duet series. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. This just picks up right where Parallel ends, and this just follows Quinn and Nick going through trying to figure out everything that's happening, and I really enjoyed this. Highly, highly, highly recommend this duet. And those are all of the books I read in 2019. Now I'm going to talk about the 4 books I read in January from the 1st through the 3rd. So the first one is Power Play, and I actually started this on December 31st. I just didn't finish it. I only have like 20% left on the 1st, so it counts for this year. And that is Power Play by Tony Aleo. This is book 2 in the Nashville Assassins Next Generation. And this follows Posey and Bone. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. This came out on the 31st, as I said, of December, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Highly, highly recommend this series. Antonia Leo, she is one of the best hockey romance authors that I've read, and I will continue reading her hockey romances because they're just so good. I love hockey romance, and this one is more of a new adultish than the Assassins. I would say those are more adult. These ones follow the Assassins' kids, so that's why it's the next generation. And this follows Posey, who is Shay and Ellie's daughter, second daughter, and she is a coach to the special teams, and yeah, in the Assassins. Highly recommend. And then I read Secret Baby by Ella Good. This was on Kindle Limited. I think this also came out on the 31st. And I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was cute, quick read. This follows Madeline and Oliver, who Madeline meets Oliver at a bar one night on their 21st birthday, and they have a one-night stand, and she ends up pregnant, and she is actually a model, and then she disappears for 5 months, and Oliver's been trying to look for her, and then he finds her, and it's their story. I enjoyed it. It was cute. And then the next 2 books I actually have physical copies of. So the first one is He Will Be My Ruin by K.A. Tucker. I read this for the Moonpack Sleeth Street on Romanceopoly. So yes, I have one of my boxes checked on that. This follows Maggie, who moves into her friend's apartment because her friend committed suicide, but she doesn't think she did. So she's trying to figure out what happened to her friend, and I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I listened to this on audio. And this one's really interesting, and because it has like pictures throughout, so it's kind of cool. And there are some like things that Kay Tucker will add, like why she did it that way and stuff. So this was 3.5 and interesting. So, and then lastly, I read Tear by Rachel Van Dyken. This is book 1 in the Seaside series. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. I listened to this from the Audible Escape package, and this follows Natalie, Dimitri, and Alec, and it's a YA book with rock stars, and it takes place in Oregon, Seaside, Oregon, and I enjoyed it. And I will continue on with the series. I don't want to tell you too much about this because it does have a love triangle, and I don't want to tell you who she ends up with. Because I feel like that's a spoiler. So, but anyways, I really enjoyed this and highly recommend if you're interested. The whole series is on Audible Escape, so if you're interested, I will continue listening to it. And yeah, those are all the books that I could tell you about, because the other two I read yesterday. I finished one yesterday and finished one this morning. So, but those will be in my next week's wrap up for this marathon. And I'm super excited. I am doing real well in this marathon so far, and also on Romanceopoly, because those two books also counted towards Romanceopoly. So far, I've read 3 books for Romanceopoly, and it's only the 5th day of January. So I feel really accomplished so far. And yeah, what are some books you read in December / a little bit of January? And if you've read any of those, what did you think of them? And if you want a full review on any of these books, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.